What's up, everyone? Welcome to another movie review. Moonfall. I will be spoiling it. My take on it. I did my podcast a few days ago, or last week rather. I did a non-spoiler review on it on the last episode of Embrace the Image podcast. So if you have iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, any of those podcast apps, please check out Embrace the Image podcast, and it will support me a lot. It would be very helpful. Please, hit that. I guess you can subscribe to it or follow it rather, however that works. But if you're joining my channel right now for this movie review, please hit that subscribe button and that notification button. I have other movie reviews that I've done prior, as well as short films that I myself write and film, and have been helped with friends and people that I've met networking to do my short films and be a part of it. So please, if you haven't seen any of my short films, check them out. Like it if you like it, leave a comment, keep it professional. But if you're into that stuff, I think you'll like my page. So thank you so much again for joining, and let's get straight to it. Moonfall is directed by, I was going to say Robert Zemeckis. It's Roland Emmerich, and it stars Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, and John Bradley. And I will say I like that team. Patrick Wilson is someone I've been watching for a while now. I love his work. I love his acting. He's amazing. Halle Berry, I've been following her for a while now. The last film that I did see her in was John Wick 3, and I'm pretty sure she's done stuff after that, but I saw before John Wick 3, so to see her in another movie, especially something that's pretty much big, like a blockbuster like this, a disaster flick, I thought was awesome. Now, was it a blockbuster? Did it do very well in the box office? Perhaps not, but, it's meant to be a blockbuster film. And it also stars John Bradley from Game of Thrones, who played Samwell, who is Jon Snow's friend. So, they were awesome in this film. I really enjoyed it. When it starts, it's Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, and another actor who plays Patrick Wilson's friend, who are in space working on something. And Patrick Wilson sees this nanobot swarm. You don't know what it is, but to me, I figured it was nanobots. But it's a swarm of them, and it attacks, the crew, and his friend gets killed. Halle Berry gets unconscious in the shuttle, and then Patrick Wilson saves him and her and goes back to planet Earth, where the government is questioning him, and she's like, she doesn't know, what to say, or what he's telling the truth, and she doesn't really help him for that matter. So their relationship is estranged in that. He's pretty much lost his career. She's still with NASA, and John Bradley, his character, he's pretty much a conspiracy theorist of what's going on. He's been following the moon, and he realizes that the moon is moving and it's on its way to Earth. And he contacts Patrick Wilson's character and NASA and trying to let them know. But it turns out that NASA is pretty much aware of what's going on, I believe that's what it is. Or they were aware of the swarm attack. They knew something was up with the moon. That is not what it seems. Of course, the government will know that. They'll keep it from, the people of the world, I guess, to stop them from being, causing havoc and fear and all that. But it's going to reveal itself, apparently. So, that gets mentioned. The moon is coming to collide with Earth. And one thing I didn't like about let's say this, the trailer kind of spoiled that the moon is moving to collide with Earth because of something that's controlling the moon. That's how I took it, and it's the nanobot swarm, and they make it seem like that's the reason why the Earth is going to collide, which I didn't like, because I wanted that suspense of like what's going on. Why is the Earth or the moon, in a collision course with Earth? And I just thought they could have done better with that within the trailer. But other than that, the trailer was interesting. But I just wish it wasn't spoiled right away. But I guess there was a twist later on, which kind of made amends that, okay, it was like the nanobot swarm, but this whole other issue, it's not just like aliens and stuff that left this nanobot swarm or so, or human made. But I'll get to that, in a bit. But, that was the one thing I didn't like about the trailer. Now, as far as the movie, the build-up to, the moon colliding with Earth, I wish it was done better. I wanted that, impending doom feel, because once it was mentioned, it was like the film flashed forward to where the moon is already, like, nearby to collide with Earth. And I didn't want that. I just thought, okay, it just rushed into people stealing and rioting and the waves coming up, the sea level rising up, and I just thought that I wanted that impending doom, like it's coming, and it just like once it was said, okay, bam, this is what's going on, and I get it, I guess, for the time frame of the film. So that was my only problem with it. As far as the scientific facts of the moon colliding with Earth, what would happen, I'm not going to get into. As I said, the sea level rises. There's one point where the moon is really close to the Earth, and in an area that they're in, the kids of the main two characters, well, there's three mains, but Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson, they're running away from the destruction of the moon, and it's like about to touch the land, but it doesn't. It's like there, so close, but you got parts of the moon falling like meteorites into the Earth, and I just wanted that build up to the impending collision with Earth. And other than that I really enjoyed the film. I didn't care for the scientific facts of how the things would be so real, because I don't care. Like, it's a movie. If you want to get into that detail, then you do. If not, it's like whatever. It's another universe. It's not our universe to be like this is what would happen or not. But I'm pretty sure they took steps to make it as realistic as possible. But so as far as the moon colliding with Earth, it's not like in a straight path about to collide. It's rotating, apparently, as they say, until it gets close when in the rotating to Earth. That's how it they do that. So perhaps that's how it would be in real life. But anyways, it's the nanobot swarm. What's making it collide with Earth is that within the moon it's hollow, and there's like a structure, a Dyson sphere or something like that, and in the middle of the core itself is like a white dwarf, and the nanobots apparently had arrived. That swarm, I think it said 12 days from that, when the movie starts, had arrived to the moon, and I believe the government knew that it was a hollow, like something the moon was made or so, but not the nanobot swarm. I don't know if it was 12 years or 12 days, because if it was 12 years, it really don't make sense why it took so long for the moon to collide. It might have been 12 days from the film. But, excuse me. So when it goes, what happens is when the nanobots swarm that core, it makes the moon in a collision course with Earth. Now, when it's out of that dwarf and it's like attacking the ship, Patrick Wilson and them, because they go to stop the moon somehow, and they know it's of the swarm, and they want to use the EMP bomb. When it gets out of that white dwarf, apparently the moon, it's like backtracks, like it's going back away from the Earth. So it's like a lot of colliding and not colliding and colliding. So basically, the moon was created because the Earth's ancestors, a highly advanced race which looked like humans from another galaxy, they were so advanced and created AI that the nanobots took over and destroyed their planet. And they had like a ring where people can live in on outside of their planet, but the nanobots just attacked and destroyed their planet. And they were building moons prior to like put out to the universe to expand, and our moon that they built was the only one that survived, and it was able to create the Earth, help create the Earth, and we're here because of them. But the nanobot swarm, there's so many that one of them made its way to our galaxy, and went into the moon and started to affect the core and collide with us, I believe, because it knew that we're there in the Earth and it would destroy us or so. But that's what the deal is. And that idea, or what they knew that, or Patrick Wilson's character finds that out, because when they're escaping from the nanobot attack, the nanobot swarm attack, I hate saying nanobot swarm, but the swarm attack, I'll just say that, within the moon, they're helped by a system within the core from the advanced civilization. I forget the term of it. I don't want to say AI, but like there's this system, memory system or so, that saves them and blocks off the swarm attack, and is trying to get into the area that they're at, but it can't get inside. But they're unconscious at this point. But Patrick Wilson ends up in this room where he's shown what I just told you about their ancestors and whatnot. and how everything happened. So he's shown that, and he realizes he needs to perhaps sacrifice himself because the EMP bomb doesn't work anymore with the button from that attack when they escaped it. So he's like, he knows everything and he wants to save the Halle Berry and John Bradley and sacrifice himself, but he ends up not sacrificing himself because John Bradley is like, what's going on, you need to be alive, but I'm gonna sacrifice myself because I'm pretty much a nobody. That's what he's saying. I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but I went to the moon, I got to fly, be an astronaut, and my point was proven, and I can sacrifice myself. So he does, but his memory ends up, his subconscious or his conscious, his memory ends up into the system. So he doesn't have his body, but his memory and all that's in the system. So now he's a part of it, and the system, who takes the form of his mom, and speaks to him, is like, we got work to do. It's like, is there going to be a sequel? Like, what can the sequel be about? And there's more swarms out there other than they destroyed the one from here, but there are other swarms out there. So perhaps something to help build and fight against this swarm. If they decide to go to a sequel, I don't know if I'll be interested in that, because it's not a sequel that it would be totally different. It's not like the moon's falling again, which obviously we don't need to see that again. But it's like, I guess I wouldn't want to see a sequel about this swarm and them trying to protect from the swarm. I don't think that's something that I would want to see. But we'll see. Then again, I really don't know if they would do it, because I'm not sure if it did very well in the box office. But because money talks, and if things don't do well, they're not going to waste money. But that's what happens with that. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. I like Roland Emmerich. I like his films. He did The Day After Tomorrow, if you're not aware. He did 2012, and he did Independence Day, which is the big one. But that's his forte. He loves disaster flicks. And one thing with him, he doesn't like superhero movies. But I figure if he took a crack at it, he can bring something different within the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DCEU with his disaster flicks, but make it into it's superhero based. Like, he can really do something. I don't understand why these directors that don't like superhero films hate it so much, or have a disdain for these franchises, because there's so many types of movies that are similar in ways, and superhero films, which there's a lot, but it's not like they overtake the whole year of films. It's like, what's the big deal? I really don't get it. It's just hating to me, and they're fun. Like, it's fun. So you can see a superhero movie, and then you can see something like Moonfall, or you can see something like Jackass 4, or just these films. It's like, it's really not that big of a deal. But I will never know, because I'm not a big director like that, and perhaps I couldn't understand maybe the process of getting things done, or what's put into more of an effort by studios and whatnot. So I don't know, but I just think he would bring something great to the table with his way of filming. But again, I really enjoyed Moonfall. If you haven't seen it and you decide not to go to the theater but rent it, I think it's a rentable movie. If it hasn't already been come out for renting, check it out. I would definitely I give a thumbs up on it. I really enjoyed it. Who doesn't like disaster flicks, especially the moon colliding with Earth? And give your take on it. And if you've seen it, comment down below and let me know what you think. But yeah, that's just my little take on it. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Please check out the rest of my YouTube channel. And until next time, later.